one. So it looks like the Utah Jazz and Los Angeles Lakers may be heading in the direction of a potential trade. So one of the possible trade destinations for Westbrook, Utah, also remains a major catalyst ahead of the deadline. Fisher wrote, any deal that sends Westbrook to the Jazz would most certainly include veteran point guard Mike Conley, wing shooter Malik Beasley, and forward Jared Vanderbilt. But sources told Yahoo Sports that Utah's front office has discussed various deals across the league with each of those three players, including several combinations of Beasley and Vanderbilt heading out of Salt Lake City together. So the Lakers could very well have some type of competition. There have even been reports that Utah is looking to try to get a first for each of these, but obviously it's about demand, right? Do teams value Jared Vanderbilt as a first round asset, right? That are willing to give up a first round pick. Same thing with Malik Beasley. Mike Conley, I don't see teams giving up a first for. Not that he's not a really good, solid player, but just his contract age, stuff like that. Teams aren't really running to the front of the line to give up a first round pick for Mike Conley. Malik Beasley, I don't really think he's a first round pick kind of guy. He's a very solid player, solid 3-and-D guy, still relatively young, but just doesn't seem to fit, especially by today's standards, like what we've gotten this season. And Jared Vanderbilt, I think, could be kind of hit or miss, but we'll see how it shapes up. And according to Shams, looks like the Lakers might be able to get these three for just one first. So according to Shams Charanian, the Jazz package of Mike Conley, Malik Beasley, and Jared Vanderbilt is a scenario the Lakers have looked into. That would be a one-pick trade. So if that is true, then I think you're running to the front of the line to get this done. Right? We've talked about the Utah deal on several occasions throughout this season. I mean, dating back to the offseason, and now it obviously wouldn't have Bojan Bogdanovic. I wouldn't even mind if they tried to work it out to get like a Kelly Olynyk. I think Kelly Olynyk would be really nice. Stretch big, play the 4, play the 5. I think that could be good as well. But regardless, even if you're just getting Mike Conley, Jared Vanderbilt, and Malik Beasley, I think that gives you some really nice depth. And then on top of only having to give up one first, it still gives you some flexibility. You turn Russ into a very good, solid 3-and-D style point guard, a guy like Mike Conley who can play on the ball, off the ball. He plays a lot of off the ball right now in Utah, right? Playing alongside guys like Jordan Clarkson, Colin Sexton. I think Mike Conley would be great next to LeBron James, that hard-nosed, solid vet that just, he understands the game. He's been in a Western Conference Finals. He's part of the grit and grind Grizzlies. He's just a guy that could really, I think, make a veteran impact on this team, be a good locker room guy, be a good veteran leader to some of the young guys, right? Especially if you end up packaging Patrick Beverley and Lonnie Walker to maybe do another deal. Having a guy like Mike Conley could really be helpful to this team and would be something that I'd like to see the Lakers look at, right? Whether he starts, whether he comes off the bench. Although, if you're trading Russ, personally, I would move Schroeder to the bench, have him play the 6-man role. I think he's best in that 6-man role. Then Mike Conley as your starting point guard. Then you could go Beasley or whomever. If you go Austin Reeves, or if they do another deal, another trade, maybe that's your starting shooting guard. But regardless, Beasley, again, another young piece that could come in, knock down the 3 ball, play some solid defense, could really be a big contributor. All three of these guys realistically could start next to LeBron and AD. Do you go in the starting lineup? Do you go with Rui Hachimura or do you go with Jared Vanderbilt for the defense? Now, I would probably go Rui. Personally, go like Conley, Beasley, Rui, LeBron, and AD, and then bring Vanderbilt off the bench and kind of be that, depending on certain matchups, he could play the 3, he could play the 4. Not saying that, he's best at the 4, but defensively, the ground that he covers, the way that he moves defensively, he's everywhere. I mean, seriously, watch him play for the Utah Jazz and watch how much ground he covers defensively. Him and Anthony Davis would be huge for this Lakers team and this Lakers defense. He's very young, a guy that you could have for now and the future. Same thing with Malik Beasley, just 2 solid guys that could come in and really make an impact for the Lakers. And then, again, like I said, Mike Conley, play some solid defense. You'd have some nice front court and back court. You basically have your starting five locked up. You get a nice little rotation piece, and if you could only give up one first, you would still have other moves to make. To me, if Utah can be the deal can be done for one first, this might be the best deal. Like I really like the Hornets deal, like Terry Rozier, Kelly Oubre, PJ Washington, guys like that, right? If you could get maybe even Gordon Hayward, stuff like that, like those are pretty good, right? And I think PJ Washington is the real grand prize. But are they willing to trade PJ Washington for one? That's been a big question. Two, do you really want to take on Gordon Hayward, Kelly Oubre? Like, he's great, solid 3-and-D guy, but he's not a great three-point shooter. I really like the Hornets deal, and I've said it for a long time. And I think Gordon Hayward, if healthy, might be the best fit in the league next to LeBron James and Anthony Davis. I mean, that Swiss Army knife that could just do a little bit of everything. I think he'd be great. It's a lot of injury concerns, right? Terry Rozier, the ability that he has to score on all three levels, I think would be huge. And being able to kind of be a closer, we really need that. But if we could do the Utah deal, I think, especially for one first, then you could go and get that closer. You could look at, Terry Rozier, or maybe go get a Gary Trent Jr., right? That's something we all are kind of hoping and waiting around for, right? Go get Gary Trent Jr. That could really kind of help with this team. Again, if you could just do this for one first, that is a home run, because you still have Patrick Beverley, you'd still have Lonnie Walker, you'd still have your first, you'd have a couple seconds, unless you include a couple seconds in the Utah deal. But even then, like, if let's say it cost one first and 2 seconds for Jared Vanderbilt, Beasley, and Mike Conley, I still love that. I really do, because you get two very young players that you're going to have for the next at least probably 4 years, if not longer. Guys that you could build and grow with, even after LeBron, right? Like Jared Vanderbilt could easily fill in that starting role, and you could have a starting five of, say, you go get a point guard at that point, right? Or let's say you get like Gary Trent, right? You could even do like something along the lines of like, get a point guard, have Gary Trent be the two, have, Rui be the three, or Vanderbilt be the three, and then the other be the four, and then AD at the five. That could be solid. Maybe you could even kind of develop Jared Vanderbilt into that sort of point forward even, because I just think he has all the intangibles to be a very good, solid, all-around player. And I think if you could do that, that'd be great. And then, take the other first and some pieces. And like I said, maybe you do go look at Charlotte, right? Could you get PJ Washington and Kelly Oubre? Wouldn't hurt to have more size and more wings, right? Some people might look at it as, well, you have Jared Vanderbilt, PJ Washington, you have, Rui Hachimura. That's a little too much. And I mean, look, 6'8", 6'7" wings are never too much, right? Especially in today's NBA. You easily could have Jared Vanderbilt be a solid piece off the bench. PJ Washington could start the other four spot when LeBron leaves. You need to look at not just now, but the future, right? You want pieces that, of course, can come in right now and really have an impact and really kind of help with this current Lakers team. But you also want pieces that can be here beyond this season. Because a big issue the Lakers have had is just the roster turnover, right? Year in and year out, it's a new team, new roster, new look. And so if you can get guys that can be here during the LeBron tenure, and then after the LeBron tenure, you still have a lot of those guys, that's great, right? Because you have that continuity. You have that chemistry. And look, guy like PJ Washington's talented enough and young enough to where if, like, let's say it does get kind of clunky, he's a piece you could easily move in a package later on to go get another piece. I mentioned earlier, like maybe you need a point guard at some point, right? Mike Conley's only going to be in the league so much longer. So maybe you look at it and go, okay, well, we need a point guard now. Let's take PJ Washington, or let's take Jared Vanderbilt, or let's take, Rui Hachimura. Let's take, one of those guys and go get this point guard over here, right? Like that could be something that is just hugely beneficial to the Lakers going forward. Just getting pieces. Many people want to see a center, right? Like, could you go get like Mo Bamba and Terrence Ross? Something like that, right? A guy vet that can, again, shoot the ball, create for himself, do kind of score on all three levels, not to an elite extent, but he can, or maybe like a Gary Harris. Maybe you could do something like that. Mo Bamba could be a 3-and-D style center. I mean, if you look at Mo Bamba's per 36, it is, I mean, uncannily identical to Miles Turner. And so many people want Miles Turner. Well, Orlando is kind of in a clunky spot as far as, big men go and stuff like that. So would they be willing to work something out to try to, maybe get some assets, get that last pick, and, I don't know, Lonnie Walker, Patrick Beverly, um, get something like that, and now you got like your center, you got, Gary Harris or Terrence Ross. Got to, again, the things the Lakers need: perimeter defense, solid shooting, rebounding, right? So if you can find pieces that solve those three things, I think the Lakers are good and they're off to the races, and I think they're going to be in a very good start. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? Do you think, like, yes, Lakers get this done, let's do the Utah deal, especially for one first, then that way you could go and package and go get another piece, another player or two? Is there a specific player or two that you'd like to see the Lakers potentially acquire outside of the Utah deal? Again, I wouldn't mind if they even try to get Kelly Olynyk. I think Kelly Olynyk would be solid, or a 7-footer that shoot the ball, stretch the floor, great passer. You can run your offense through him. Just a lot of things, like a good, fundamentally sound guy. But again, love to hear your thoughts, opinions, however you feel. Let me know down in the comments below.